Peace everyone, Unmaskart here and welcome to the Drawing Journal where I hang out and draw with you guys. Today, as you can see, I am working on a project that we did over Inktober. We're finally done with Inktober and now it's just time to get back to the normal streams, hang out, have some fun, and do whatever. You guys can ask me whatever questions you want for anything during the drawing journals. The drawing journals are essentially everyday Inktober, but only once a week. We're just here to have fun and hang out and draw. And I really liked this Inktober piece. This was probably my favorite Inktober piece that I completed over the month of October, and I wanted to incorporate some colored pencils into it. I have some Prismacolors here just to finish it off. I got the skin pretty good with just the markers. I was able to do this drawing with just markers, and I haven't added anything else to it since Inktober, so I thought it would be fun to just go back and revisit it. A lot of the benefits of doing Inktober is that you end up with 31 drawings that can either inspire something new or just be 31 sketches that you can go back and revisit and kind of like finalize and touch up. I probably won't be going back to any more other than this one. This was the only drawing that really stuck out to me, and I just had to go back to it. So real quick, let me say hello to everyone in the chat. Cece, Hildy, Lisa, Sushre, hopefully I pronounced that right, Gihan, Avita, Talia. My dad is in the chat. Hello, Dad. Good to see you. First time in the live stream. Yes, it is my afternoon. I know it's morning for you guys there in Ohio. Sneaks and Chris, awesome to see you guys. And Sarah. You didn't miss too much at the beginning, so no problem there, Sarah. Glad you made it. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and start coloring. And I'm going to start on the shorts, then I'm going to do the shirt. I'm going to kind of leave the skin for last, but if you guys have any questions at all, feel free to ask me. I need to resituate my drawing here a little bit. I'm really running out of desk space. Alright, let's see. I'll just set that there. Alright, that should be good. What color was I going to use? 926, yeah. And I'm just going to work on the shorts. And one of the working with markers and colored pencils is probably my favorite thing to do. I really love the way colored pencils lays over top of markers. You can't get a smoother finish, and usually when you're just working with colored pencils, you have those crumbly kind of colored pencil texture. And when you have a base layer of markers, it kind of smooths out the paper and it lets the colored pencils just lay down on the paper real smooth. And it's a very fun mixed media to try out. So if you haven't done markers as a base layer and then colored pencils over top, I definitely have to recommend giving that a try. I'm just going to smooth out some of the transitions from my markers here with my pencils. I'm not going to be doing a whole lot with the colored pencils in this drawing because, as you can see, it's pretty much just complete. I just wanted to smooth out some of the marker transitions, especially in the skin, but I wanted to save the skin for last, so we're just going to do this. And if you guys have any questions, go ahead and let me know. Go ahead and ask them. I never get enough questions. and it feels a little strange after doing Inktober, doing the daily live streams. It almost feels weird to do a live stream. I don't even know what to do. Oddly enough, since it's not Inktober related, I had to refrain from saying welcome to day, what would this be, day 36 of Inktober? Yeah, hopefully you guys been keeping up on your drawings and your projects and you haven't slowed down too much, but it is nice to take a break from Inktober. That was a very hectic month of streaming and drawing and coming up with new ideas. So I hope everybody had a fantastic weekend. I had a great weekend. I had a lot of fun over the weekend. Spent a lot of time hanging out with friends, playing Magic, and even playing a little bit of Pokemon, as funny as that sounds for me to say it. Good morning, Brenda. Good to see you. So you're placing colored pencils over the trio markers. Yes, that is exactly what I'm doing. Nice to see a non-Inktober live stream. I agree, Toya. It's nice to do a non-Inktober live stream, so I appreciate that. How did I spend the weekend? Hope you and Anna had a nice time. We did. So last week, actually, last week was All Saints Day, November 1st, and for that, Anna and I had to visit the cemetery to light candles and honor her family, and we did that on the 1st. And then on Friday I played Magic with my friends, and then Saturday I played more Magic with my friends, and they taught me how to play Pokemon, because next week there's a little tournament, Pokemon tournament that we're going to play in. And what else? And then Sunday I played more Magic. So I played a lot of Magic. Anna and I, we made pierogi yesterday, and they were super tasty. And we just kind of bummed around and watched. We're finishing up season 8 of House, which I believe is the last season. I'm pretty sure it's the last season. So we're finishing that up, and we're trying to mentally prepare for our trip to the United States. We'll be traveling to the United States very, very soon, and I'm excited to see my family and go snowboarding and just have a good time and see everybody. That's what I'm looking forward to. Hello today, everyone. Hope all is good. All is good, Lily. Thank you so much for asking. I got it. A lot of work that I need to do in the next couple weeks before leaving. One of the things that I want to get kind of scheduled out is the family streams. I want to get the family stream schedule kind of situated in a way that we can all know when the streams are. And what I think I am going to do, because based on what I was trying to figure out earlier today while preparing this, and I also prepared tomorrow's live stream, so I'll be live streaming tomorrow, and I'll be trying out for the first time these wonderful unison color soft pastels. This is the landscape set, and I'm going to be trying those out for the first time doing a mountain landscape, and I just posted that live stream is scheduled, and it's probably being promoted right now because I have it promoting for, oh wait, no, I don't think it promotes, I don't know. I think it's a day in advance. I'll have to check, but I posted it over on my Patreon page, and so you can get the line art and the reference photo that I'm going to be using. So, and it will be free. You don't have to sign up or anything like that, but yeah, that's going to be my new schedule scheme, I guess. I want to do the drawing journals today on Mondays, and I hope to do this every week, which I don't have any reason to hope. I am planning on doing these every Monday, with the exception of the couple weeks that I'll be gone later this month. And then Tuesdays will be the live pastel tutorial. Wednesdays, Chrissy will stream over on her channel, Xris Art. You guys should know her. She's been a family member for a year, so she's a senior family member. And then Thursday I stream over on Patreon. Nobody streams yet on Friday, but I'm sure I'll have some other artists that are interested in being a family streamer, and hopefully before too long we can have a family streamer every single day of the week. That way we can always get together and hang out and just create. That's going to be the plan. And what I think I'm going to do is for each family streamer that is going to be streaming, they will have moderator access to the Facebook family Facebook group, and what I'll have them do is set up events, weekly events for their particular stream. That way we don't have to worry about like adjusting a calendar or anything like that. Each person will be in charge of their own stream schedules, and I think it will just work out really easily like that for everybody. It doesn't require me to do any extra work, and nobody has to worry about anybody else's stream. So I think that's going to be the route that I go, is that we're just going to take care of our own streams, and then it will all be in the Facebook group so that everybody can see it and know when they are. Because I was checking the event calendar scheduling setup on the Facebook page, and you don't have to make a new event every week for your live stream. What you can do is just a reoccurring event that happens every week, and so that's what I'm going to do with my streams, probably sometime this week, and that way everybody knows when they are for their particular time zone and all of that, and then the other streamers can just set up their live streams also. And also, if there's like another family member that wants to do a stream, but they're not set up, or they're just not ready to commit to a weekly stream, then they can just kind of sprinkle their streams in there whenever they want, as long as it doesn't impose on another family member's live stream. I think that's the way that I'm going to do it. Because the events on Facebook, you could usually get notified for them. If you're active in the group and stuff, and you have notifications, and then if you say that you're interested in it, then Facebook will remind you. And I think it's just a better way to get everybody kind of remembering the streams, where they're at, and of course everybody will put their links there. I think it will work out good. Yeah. think that's the way it's going to be. Good plans for the community and the creation process ahead. Well, thank you, Lily. I can see how subtle the pencil you are laying down is, but it makes a really big difference. Yes, indeed it does. You're absolutely correct. That's what I love about incorporating the pencils and the markers. You can see that, I mean, it's hard to tell, but from the beginning, from where I started, the shorts already look like they're brighter, the colors are a bit more vibrant, and these highlights are really starting to pop out quite a bit. Oh, hello, Co. Good to see you. I am glad you could make it too. And also you, Gina, I see you. Richard in Virginia, good morning to you guys. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody else in the stream. Yeah, essentially what I'm doing with these colored pencils is just kind of smoothing out the transitions and adding a bit of vibrancy to the colors and making the colors a bit more exact to what their values and saturation should be. So that's kind of what I'm doing on the shorts here, and that's what I'm going to be doing overall for the picture in general. I did not get to see the marker part of this picture and did not see the markers listed in your recommended products. What markers did I use? Well, the reason that the markers aren't listed in my recommended products, as much as I would recommend them, the issue is that those markers are discontinued and you cannot buy them. So recommending markers you can't get, not exactly a practical thing for me to do. I wish that they didn't discontinue them. So yeah, that's the unfortunate side of it. The marker part of this drawing though was done during Inktober. I think it was day 26, which was stretch. Yeah, I can zoom in a little bit. I don't want to zoom in too much. I don't want to zoom in too much because this drawing is small. Like, look how small this drawing is. My hand covers it. And getting in there really close doesn't really benefit anyone too much because the result of the drawing is distorted when you zoom in super close and you see like the pencil texture and stuff like that. The important thing here is well, one, this isn't necessarily a tutorial per se. It's more just a forum in which you can ask questions. The drawing journal is not technically a tutorial. The drawing journal is just a chance for you to get to know me and for us to hang out and for me to talk about random stuff. So I keep it pretty informal, but not uninformal. Informative, that's what I mean to say. So you can ask all the questions that you want regarding this drawing if you feel the need, and I'm happy to explain what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. But I don't do it naturally for these drawings. Usually I just kind of sit here, draw, and hang out. Because the drawing journal gives me a time to kind of decompress from all the teaching that I tend to do. And it's, so I'm not working at any particular pace. I want to just color this and have fun. And that's why I'm doing it, because I really liked this drawing. And yeah, so like zooming in and getting real close for the sake of you seeing like exactly what I'm doing, and not really the most appealing thing for me to do here. Sorry about that. But I don't mind zooming in a little bit. I feel like I'm leaving my hand out of the way quite a bit, so if you can't see, I apologize for that, but sometimes the top-down camera is not actually the best angle to see what's actually happening to the drawing. When are you doing the stream on your color challenge? I'm not sure. I understand the question, Brenda. When am I doing the stream on your color challenge? Color challenge. Maybe rephrase the question, Brenda. I'm not quite sure what you mean. Oh, hello, Tatiana. Good to see you. There. You know what? I think the shorts are they're just about done. I think maybe just a little bit of adjustment right here. Smooth out some of that texture. And then the shorts will be done. The picture you put up for us to color, I already did the live stream for that. It's over on Patreon. I actually colored that project all through the month of like August, September, I think. Oh, hello, Alan. Welcome to the live stream. Glad to have you. And Misty, I see you as well. Thank you for coming by. Okay, so an update, quick update on the coloring competition. So the coloring competition is over. It is over. I'm not announcing the winner on today's live stream, as much as you'd love to know, Brenda. I'm glad that you brought it up. I am going to be announcing the winner tomorrow. Okay? So I will announce the winner. I'm going to just put together a very quick, probably 1 minute video, and announce the winner. That video will go up. The winners will have 1 week to email me to claim their prize. And once they do, then I will take the announcement video down and mail off the prizes to the winners. That's going to be the plan there. All right, I am satisfied with the shorts, so I'm going to move up to the shirt now. Okay, Lily. Well, you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you next time. All right, so for the shirt, now one thing that I wasn't able to do with the markers with the shirt is that the shirt has a lot of texture to it, and I just didn't feel like it was going to be a viable option to add in those bits of texture. So the fact that the color pencil is not going to be perfectly smooth is actually going to be to my benefit, because it has a lot of texture when applied. Oh, thank you, Alan. I appreciate that. I'm glad you like the drawing so far. I'm grabbing my kneaded eraser. I still have a little bit of graphite showing up here on the edge of the shirt, and I'm hoping that I can just lift some of it off. Yeah, that's perfect. Just a small bit of graphite there I wanted to get rid of. This is my lightest color of the shirt, so I'm just kind of going over this light area a little bit, giving it kind of a grainy texture. This is just going to make it look a little bit more like a shirt, so that's why I'm doing it, because it has that subtle colored pencil grain that just makes it look more cloth-like as opposed to just flat colored in gray shape. This color is very, very close to the color that the shirt already is, so it doesn't really do a lot. It's subtle. Everything that I'm doing today is going to be subtle. I gotta go back to work tomorrow, so I'll be limited, but I've been keeping up with the oil pastels part. I don't use oil pastels, so perhaps you're talking to somebody else? Oh, hello Renee, good to see you. What would you be drawing or working on next week? That's a good question. That is a good question. For the next drawing journal, I actually don't have anything. I don't have anything planned. So if you guys have any suggestions, you can always give me your suggestions or what you'd like to see. Like I said, the drawing journal is essentially anything. It's kind of just my free stream where I get to do whatever I want, or it's the free stream that I give myself to do whatever I want. I think that's a better way of putting it. So if you guys want to see something specific for the drawing journal or a topic or something, as long as it's not like explicitly a tutorial. I mean, if you give me a subject and then of course I draw the subject or whatever or color it and you guys have questions, that's perfectly acceptable for what I make the drawing journals about. So I mean, if you guys have any suggestions, I'm open for them for next week's drawing journal, because actually, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, next week's drawing journal will be the last one before I go on vacation. So yeah, just let me know what you guys are thinking, what you'd like to see, maybe talk about or something like that. I'm happy to do that. Because I'll be gone for a couple weeks, so I think I can give you guys whatever it is you'd like. Oh, that's really cool, Misty. Take pictures of Snowshoe for the stream. Oh, I'll definitely be taking some pictures. I'm taking my camera because it's part of a video that I've been talking about for some time regarding my oil painting project. So it's related to that, and I'll be taking some pictures and some video. I got a little bit of work to do while I'm on vacation. That's usually how it works. There's no vacation that I don't work a little bit on, I guess. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun little project that I'm gonna be doing with my brother, and I look forward to it. I'm having my sisters take my wife out for a nice spa day while I'm there, and then while they're, you know, doing their girly stuff, I'm gonna be at my brother's shop building something. Oh yes, I've been to Snowshoe before, Brenda. Yeah, I went. How old was I? I think I was 14. I think I was 14 when I first went to Snowshoe. I went there for 3 days. Um, Actually, I could talk a little bit about my adventure, Snowshoe. Um, so I've broken a lot of fingers in my lifetime. I've broken uh, I broke this finger when I was 12 snowboarding. I broke this finger, or was it this finger? No, it was this finger. Um, Actually, I broke both of these. This one was broken sled riding. This one was broken snowboarding. This one was broken skateboarding. And I think one of my pinkies, I think it was my left pinky. I think it was football or something. Some stupid, something dumb. And yeah, it. So that was some of my injuries in my life. But there's only been one time. There's only been one time in my life that I had a concussion, and that was at Snowshoe when I was 14. And it was the craziest feeling in my life. Because okay, so I went with my friend Stevie and a couple other doctors that he worked with. They paid for the whole trip. It was fantastic. That's how we went. But we were going down this semi-closed side. It was starting to get late, and they were closing the lifts and all that. And there was this one section, because there's two sides to Snowshoe. There's like the harder side and the easier side, but the hard side also has like one of the best trails. That's just like really mellow and long. And we were going down, and there was just this little mound. There was just this little mound, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna do a 360 off this mound. But I didn't realize, I couldn't tell that the mound was just nothing but ice. So when I went up to rotate to do the trick, the board just slid because it was ice. And what ended up happening is, because I wasn't able to catch that edge to do the actual rotation, I just stopped, and I floated backwards in the air and hit the ground and smacked the back of my head on just a sheet of ice on the ground. And I blacked out, completely blacked out. And the next thing that I know is that I'm on the ski lift back up the mountain. So I hit my head and I wake up. I regain consciousness on the ski lift with my friend Stevie going back up the mountain. Which means I got up, snowboarded down like another half a mile, so about a kilometer, down this mountain, and got on a ski lift, and then I was not even aware that how it happened. And when I regained consciousness on the ski lift, I was like looking around. I was like, how on earth did I get here? It blew my mind. It was the craziest thing in the world, because I to this day, I can't even remember anything about the first 2 days of the snowshoe trip when I was 14. The first 2 days were perfectly fine. I don't remember any injuries because I don't remember the first 2 days. I only remember the night that I hit my head. That is all I remember. I don't remember riding down after I hit my head. I just remember hitting my head, waking up on the ski lift, starting to ride back down. So after I, recovered or whatever, or regained some of my consciousness on the way back, we continued to ride. I wasn't gonna stop. It wasn't gonna stop me from riding, and so we headed back down the mountain, and it occurred to me that I had a girlfriend, and for the life of me, I couldn't remember her name. And for the entire ride down the mountain, or at least partially down the mountain, I was trying to remember the name of my girlfriend. And it was crazy because I was completely conscious of the fact that I had a girlfriend. Granted, this was when I was 14, so I'm not saying that I forgot Anna's name, somebody else's name. And it drove me nuts, and I couldn't remember my girlfriend's name until the next day. It took until the next day, in half of the next day, because the next day was the car ride home, and I couldn't remember it for most of the car ride home. And when we started going back down the hill, I blacked out again, and I woke back up on the ski lift. So multiple times I was going down double black diamond hills and not remembering, and then regaining consciousness on the ski lift up. It was both scary and exciting because it was such a insane feeling to have. It was the most insane feeling I've ever had in my life, because I can remember it to this day. I can remember only that part of the trip. It was totally crazy. But absolute blast. And then we ended up getting in trouble because we stayed out too late on a trail that was marked closed, and ski patrol had a snowmobile, and they chased after us, and they took away our passes. Unfortunately, it was the last day, so we didn't care anyway, because we didn't need to get them back. They said that we could get them back, but it was the last day of snowboarding. We had to leave, so it didn't matter. But yeah, we ended up getting in trouble by ski patrol because we stayed out too late, and we went down this trail. This trail that they had it dug out in the ground for a half pipe, but there wasn't enough snow at the time, and so the top edges of the half pipe were ground and grass, and so it was closed for that reason, because danger or whatever. And we went down through this melted half pipe, and the ski patrol just happened to be riding by on the snowmobile, because like I said, the park was closing because it was getting late, and so he was just like doing his final round or something, and he saw us, and so he tried to stop us, and he easily recognized that we were running. not running, but snowboarding as fast. We basically just went straight down the hill as fast as possible. But it's pretty hard to outrun a snowmobile. And especially when you're the only two people out. It was dumb as can be. It was so dumb. But I remember it. And that's about all I remember from my first snowshoe trip. Unfortunately, the first 2 days are completely gone. I have no memory, no recollection of them at all. I know we were there for 3 days though. Yeah, I told my friend Stevie. I told him, I was like, dude, I think I have a concussion because I have no memory. And he was like, dude, don't tell the girls that we're with. We were with two older doctors because he works at I don't know if he still does, but he worked at the hospital, and they skied. They didn't even ski with us. We just went off and did our own thing. They went off and did their own thing, and then we'd meet up for like lunches and dinners and stuff. And of course, they'd buy us the food, and it was fantastic. It made no sense. They just wanted people to go with, I guess. Because we literally paid for nothing. It was an amazing trip. And he's like, don't tell the doctors. Because they'd be freaking out or whatever. I don't know. They'd be doing doctor stuff. And I kept it a secret. I didn't tell them. I was like totally blacked out the whole time, and I can't remember the first 2 days. None of it. It was crazy. Absolutely crazy. Had a concussion after being bucked off a horse around 12. To me, it was only a second before regaining consciousness. I still wonder if it was longer since I was alone. Yeah, it could have been. It could have been, Stacy. You never know. I mean, it was like it knocked out like a couple days of my life were just disappeared completely. But it was still cool. It definitely makes for a fun story. I actually just told my wife this story not too long ago. Yeah. I told her when we realized we were gonna go to Snowshoe. It's like, yeah, we're going to this place. You're gonna learn how to snowboard for the first time. Oh, by the way, did I tell you that I wrecked the first time I was there and got a major concussion and lost 2 days of my life. Yeah, I don't think I told you that story, Cece. Was I tired? No, I wasn't. I was not tired. I would just I'd be sitting there and then it would just go blank. Like it was like a movie cutscene. It was like everything was normal, and then it would just be like a cut scene that would immediately go to the next thing. So yeah, pretty crazy. But it was interesting. Definitely interesting. I'm gonna start working on the skin now. And I'm gonna be going bold. I'm gonna go bold. I'm just gonna layer this color down here, and I know that I'm using the right color, and that's half the trouble that people have with skin. Half the trouble that people have with skin is that they don't spend the time to recognize the color and to utilize it to its full potential. Never had memory loss, but I do have had hallucinations once when I was in fever. Oh, whoa, that's crazy. That must have been pretty bad fever. Have I ever had hallucinations? Yes. Yes, I have. Um, I once saw. I once could see the blood flowing through my hand, and it looked like a cartoon. It looked like a cartoon, because, like, you know how like things flow in a tube, and it like you have the bubble of like fluid or whatever, and it flows through and it goes like that. Yeah, I once saw that in the veins in my arm and hand. It was pretty interesting. Trying to think of any other crazy crazy situations. That was the only hallucination I've ever had. Have I ever been to Perfect North in Ohio? No, no. I never have. Never have. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was interesting, Co. It was very interesting because it was like where I would look at a vein like this one, or this one here. It would like bulge out of my hand like a cartoon. It looked like my cartoon was or my hand was like a cartoon, and the blood was like flowing really slow. It was super weird. What color am I using? I am using 1092. 1092. The skin is super light the way that I have it now with the markers. So this color is going to show up a lot. Yeah, it's going to show up a lot, and it's probably going to look a little strange in the beginning, because I just didn't. I ran out of time. You guys that were there for the Inktober stream, for this drawing, I ran out of time, which is why this doesn't look as good as it could. And so I didn't get as dark as I wanted to with the skin. But today I'm going to be. And I'm going to show you just how weird it's going to look. I'm starting with the dark color first, just so you can see the drastic difference. And once I finish this color and I could switch to kind of the blendy colors, the lighter tones, you'll start to see the skin come like more and more to life. Because right now the skin is like really dead. It's dull. It doesn't have much red in it at all. And so I'm going to be adding that red today. I don't know how far I'm going to get. I don't think even though this drawing is rather small, I don't think I'm going to be able to get it done today. But I'll be able to get some of it done for sure. And I at least this arm. I think that's going to be my goal. I'm going to try to finish this arm today so you guys can see the drastic difference that I intend to do with the skin. Maybe next week you can work on a mountain scene. I'm doing a mountain scene tomorrow. Yeah, I'm doing a mountain scene tomorrow with pastels. So you don't even have to wait a whole week for that. And if you want if you want the reference photo, you can go over to my Patreon page. It's the very last thing that I posted, so you should have no trouble finding it. Do I ever blend anything if you have markers as a base? Do you mean like, do I take a solvent and blend? Because if that's the question, the answer is yes. When I have markers as a base, you can still use solvent to blend your colored pencils. You can still blend them. So that's a good question, and I have tested that. So it's still totally blendable with solvent, even if you have markers as a base. You just have to be a little bit careful because just like when you use smoother paper, your markers make the papers even smoother, and so it does not take very much solvent at all, and in fact it's really easy to lift the it's really easy to lift the colored pencil pigment off the paper once you've laid down markers. So you just have to be a little bit light-handed with your brush, and even lighter with the amount of solvent that you use. Does not require very much solvent at all. So just keep that in mind if you do blend with solvent. But it is totally, you are totally capable of doing it. I have 3 colors here. What color am I missing? This color here that I'm using is 927. And the colored pencils that I've only used the Prismacolor pencils, so I'm not mixing in any other brands here. I initially reached for my luminance pencil because there's a lot of skin tone here, and I really like the colors with the luminance for skin tones. I feel like I've narrowed down exactly what colors I need for skin with those pencils. But instead I reached for the Prismacolors because they're a little bit more budget friendly, and I know more people have them. So that's why I went with the Prismacolors. No other reason than that. This is more of the highlighted color of the skin, which is why the edge of this darker color isn't really being blended out just yet. It will be blended out once I add the other color. This is like the base skin tone color. As you can see, it didn't really change all that much, but it did get slightly darker in value. That's the one difference with this color here that I'm adding. Is just that it's adding a little bit more saturation and value to the overall skin color, but it's not really changing the color all that much, very, very subtly. How do I choose which blending style you use? Solvents, Luminance Blender, or perhaps Prismacolor Marker Blender? Is it just the size of the area to be blended? Not really. To be honest with you, like, the way that I choose my blending method determines on what I want the drawing to look like. For instance, I tend to use the Luminance Colorless Blender anytime I do skin. That is my usual standard method that I like to use, because it just makes it nice and smooth and glossy. And I tend not to use solvent anytime I'm blending skin because solvent tends to leave it looking a little dry and blotchy, and I'm not a huge fan of that. But is this the right color? Yeah, this is 1019, by the way. Yeah, that's a tough question to really answer because I tend to just do what I think will give me the best results in the end. And that doesn't necessarily make one better than the other. It's just kind of, it's more of a result, like what I intend to have the result look like that makes the difference in my blending. I would say that's probably the best way to put it. When I use markers, I tend to not use solvent as much because the markers themselves already do so much for the colored pencils that blending is almost not even a necessary thing with the other layers that you put on. But that's not to say that you shouldn't blend with solvent, because like I just mentioned, you can totally blend with solvent and it works perfectly fine. I've never used the marker blender. I don't think that I ever would use a marker blender. I don't think that I would be satisfied with the way the blending looks at the end. So I'll probably never use a marker to blend colored pencils. It just seems really short-lived for the marker. I don't think a marker is going to last very long because I know that you can use like a colorless marker blender. Doesn't even matter what the brand is to blend colored pencils. But I don't think the marker is going to last very long because it's this waxy stuff building up in the marker. I don't have a lot of hope for that marker surviving. I've done it before, like I've tried it out. I know that it works, but I don't think it's the best option. I think that using a brush and solvent is always the better option. If you have a brush and you have solvent to blend your colored pencils, I always think that I think that's always going to be the better option than using a marker to blend. But maybe I'll grab my solvent, try out some blending here. Who knows? Let's see here. I think I need a 939. I forgot to grab this 939 color. Yeah, this is the color I was missing. My light needs to be turned. Is that too bright? I moved my light a bit closer. I don't think that's too bright. I love these bendy lights, but sometimes they drive me nuts. What brand of solvent? So I am using the Zest It, but I can assure you that the brand makes no difference. They all work exactly the same. I've been working with colored pencils for like 5 years now, and I have used a different solvent every year, at least. So I've used at least 5, possibly 6 different brands, and my purchasing choice up until, okay, I gotta turn this light back. It just feels like it's too bright. Just feels like it's too bright, and I can't stand it. Sorry. My philosophy in purchasing a solvent to blend my colored pencils was always exactly the same. 1, does it stink? If it doesn't stink, is it the cheapest that doesn't stink? And can I buy it right now? that was basically my philosophy all the way up until last year with solvent, because I would walk into my art store. This was when I lived in Seattle. I'd see if they had solvent, which of course they did. They're an art store. I would take the lid off, and I would waft it a little bit. And if it said odorless, and I only smelled like that tinge of scent, then be like, okay, this works. And that's what I'd get. As long as it was the cheapest, I would always get the cheapest. Every single time. I would just get the cheapest. And that's what I did. And I've done several cheap, off-brand, nonsense, goofy stuff that was just cheap. And it never did anything different than any other brand that I purchased. Not one time. So now the only thing that I look for in my solvent is that it doesn't smell. Or if it smells, I can tolerate it. Because obviously all the solvents are going to have somewhat of a smell. They can't make it perfectly odorless. Not yet, anyway. There's always this teeny tiny little scent that you just can't get away from. And why is somebody ringing my doorbell? What could possibly be? I didn't order anything. Someone is ringing my doorbell, and I refuse to answer it unless I know something is coming. I swear I didn't order anything. Whatever. I'm not answering it. So stinky ones are the best? What? No. Huh? Did I say that? Did I accidentally say that? No. No. If they smell bad, they just smell bad. They're gonna work the same. They just smell bad. So I always get the ones that don't smell. I don't know if I got that, if I somehow mixed that up when I was talking, but yeah. Just get the ones that don't stink. That's my advice. They all work the same. Don't be too particular about it, because it doesn't make a difference. Makes zero difference. Now I'm thinking there's like this brown color that I want, but I don't have it in any of my pencils. I need, like, if you took chocolate and milk and you mixed them together, but you added a little bit too much milk, that's the color of brown I need right now. And it's non-existent in all of my colored pencils. None of them have that chocolate, that super milky chocolate. I need a 945. Yeah. I need milky chocolate. So instead, I'm just gonna get chocolate and then add my own milk. Did someone order pizza? Maybe. Oh, man, that reminds me. So, um, I know you guys. Well, I'm sure most of you, 90% of you, know that I'm vegan. Well, I went. What day was this? I can't remember what day this was. I have the hardest time with this. I think it was Friday. Maybe it was Friday. Maybe it was Sunday. I don't think it was Sunday. Was it Sunday? Maybe it was. No, it couldn't have been Sunday. No. The heck day was it? I don't know what day it was, okay? It was a day in the last 3 days. It was one of those days. And I was super hungry. I needed to get food. And I also needed to be... Look, I needed to get food, all right? I don't even know what I'm trying to say. I needed to get food. You brought up pizza, and it made me think of zapiekanka, which, like I'd said before, is the Polish version of French bread pizza. They call them zapiekankas. Zapiekanki. That's plural. And I usually go to this one place called Toto Jutra, and they have a vegan option with vegan cheese also. And then there's this other place that doesn't have it, and they're not as good. They're actually just straight garbage. And Toto Jutra was closed, and I was like, oh man, they're closed. And I was like, well, I used to get, before I came across Toto Jutra, I came across this one other place, this one other zapiekanka place, because there's a billion of them. And I used to just order whatever I could, and then I'd be like, I don't want meat on it, and I don't want cheese on it, okay? Just give me the sauce, give me the veggies, and I'll be on my way. I don't order it like that, but they irritated me. And this story is irritating. But I go there, and I'm in a hurry. I'm in a bit of a hurry because I need to be at the game store or whatnot. And so I order, and I'm like, look, I want mushrooms, I want onions, and I want peppers. Okay? I don't want cheese. No cheese. All right? I say it very clearly because I can't tell you how many times I've ordered stuff and not gotten it the way that I wanted it because I'm trying to make it vegan. Gosh darn it. She asks me, she then asks me, do I want salami? I was like, in my head, I was like, did I say I want salami? Like, did you hear me say salami? No, I don't want salami. So I said no. I said no, I don't want salami. Well, 10 minutes later, I'm like sitting there tapping my foot waiting for this zapiekanka. I'm starving half to death. And lo and behold, that thing comes out of the oven with gosh darn, what was the meat? Salami. It comes out with salami. Oh my god. It was the second time. They've done this. They've done it twice, okay? They've done it twice. They always put meat on it. They always put meat on it. How do you mess that up? Seriously. How do you mess that up? Somebody says, I don't want meat on My gosh darn Zepikanka. And it's the one thing you put on it. You don't put cheese, but you put meat. Oh my goodness, it just drove me nuts. It drove me nuts. Oh, it was so irritating. Oh, hey, thanks, Cece, for the super chat. Sorry, I was into my story and I missed it. Thanks for the super chat. I appreciate that. That is going straight to the new marker fundraiser, the marker fund. Yeah. That was my story. You brought up pizza. It reminded me of Zepikanka, and that's my story. They get confused and just don't listen. I can tell when the order will get stuffed up, can see the person just zoning out. There was no line. It was at a time of day where like nobody's eating. There was like 4 people on the entire street. And she asked me if I wanted it, and I was like, no. If I wanted it, because this is how I ordered. Okay, I was like, I want one with mushrooms, onions, and peppers. And then I said, no cheese. And she looked at me and said, no cheese. And I said, correct. I don't want cheese. Because I am super... I articulate my order very, very precisely. Partially because, English is their second language when I'm ordering. But, oh my goodness. It comes out with salami. Gosh darn it. You got me waiting here for 10 minutes for a salami encrusted gosh darn Zepikanka. That's my life. When I get Indian at food hall, I always want rice separate from the meat, and sometimes they refuse and try to charge me more. I say, I'll pay for the extra plate. Then they try to charge me for 2 meals. Wow. That is ridiculous. That is so ridiculous. Geez, the drawing looks good. It just looks like the photo in the video thumbnail. The photo in the video thumbnail is the drawing shiny. I think you're making a joke, right? You're making a joke. You know what gets me, like when ordering food and junk, is when I order non-vegan stuff. Like, let's just use pizza, because that's a really good one. And I order the pizza without cheese. You best be giving me a gosh darn discount. If you do not give me a discount, you can guarantee that is the last place I'm eating there. If I'm not getting cheese or meat on my pizza and you don't give me a discount, then I am never going back there. Because those are the two most expensive ingredients on pizza. And I know that for a fact. And I'm getting neither of them? Yeah. That stuff irritates me to death when ordering food. Gosh darn pencils. Yeah, these pencils have been giving me the hardest time in the world to sharpen. They just don't want me to use them or something. Hardest time in the world. Oh my goodness, yes. Thought it was a photo reference, but no. How can you post the photo of the drawing before you've drawn it? The photo is before I started adding colored pencils. So that's all that photo is. Oh, Brenda, you better believe I make the best pizza. Okay, I gotta change this light again. It's driving me nuts. Gotta try and move it as far away. There. That's the way I want it. Actually, no. I make good pizza, okay? But this place, Vegan Port Pizza up in Gdańsk, that my wife and I ate at while we were up there last year. Jeez, was it last year? Good God, that went fast. Wow. Can't believe it was last year. My goodness. Yeah. Well, anyway, I would have to give them the best pizza making. I do make great pizza. I'm a master at dough. Anytime I'm good at something, Anna always describes me as a blank whisperer. So last night I had to make dough. I had to make dough for pierogi, and my wife, she's not too good with dough. Well, she can't make it at all, which is why I always make it. And when it comes to folding the pierogi, she's really slow. She's like, I do 3 by the time she's done 1. She's just really slow with it, which doesn't bother me, because as long as she does it, then I don't have to. Because I hate folding them. And she uses a little bowl of water to wet the edges where she crimps it with her fingers. I don't use water. I just crimp it with my fingers. And she always says, like, I don't understand why your pierogi don't ever fall apart, because you don't use water. And I was like, you don't need to use water. The dough is perfect. And she called me a dough whisperer. She did it the other day too with something else. I was trying to think of what it was. I don't know. She was always calling me a blank whisperer. It just makes me laugh. Oh, hello, Barbara. Yeah, you're a tad bit late, but you're here now. That's all that matters. I think we had a little bit of a pizza conversation during Inktober, and I gotta say, if you're making your own pizzas, and you're not putting spinach on them, you are missing out. You don't even have to like spinach. It just is perfect. Spinach is perfect on pizzas. It's just fantastic. So you got to give that a try. If you're making your own pizzas, you got to throw some spinach on them. Just whole baby spinach leaves. Just pile it on there and let the oven do what it does. Yeah, fresh basil is good too. Oh, mushrooms. Oh, I love mushrooms on pizza. Yeah, definitely. 100% agree with you there. Mushrooms on pizza. You guys are making me so hungry right now. Seriously, so hungry. I had miso and udon noodle for lunch today. That's what I made myself. Why is your channel called Unmasked Art? I did answer that. I know for sure I answered that question over Inktober. So let me give you the quick synopsis. The name Unmasked Art comes originally from two things. The third is something that kind of was built after my channel had been around for a while. So an unintentional name. But the first... Sorry, I'm thinking. The first reason that... Or the first meaning behind it is that it refers to the way I used masking tape with my paintings. Because I spent a lot of time with my dad in the garage when I was younger. He taught me how to tape off cars to prepare them for paint. And I always loved it. I always really liked using masking tape, and if you've seen some of my older painting videos and the way that I use tape with the pastel, with my pastel work, then you know that I utilize the tape quite a bit. And unmask refers to the removing the tape after it's been painted. I love those crisp lines. It's my favorite thing in the world. And that's the first meaning behind it. The second meaning behind it is unmasking myself, because I started my channel as kind of a self-prescribed therapy, because I've always been kind of socially awkward, and I have the hardest time making friends because I either think people are dumb and so I don't talk to them, or I overanalyze what to say to people when I don't know them and how to start a conversation. And so I just end up paralyzing myself into being quiet and not saying anything. And so I thought that, maybe starting a YouTube channel, I'd be able to kind of come out of my shell a little bit, in which I think I have quite a bit. And so that was the second meeting. It was kind of revealing myself, per se. And the third meaning that evolved after several years of running my channel is just unmasking the art itself, kind of revealing the techniques that I use, and just whatever you want to make of that. That's essentially what it's come down to. Oh, hello, Wendy. Good morning. I should make pizza tonight. Yeah. I should. I don't have any pasta sauce. That's the problem. I don't have anything to make pasta sauce. At least I don't think I do. No, I don't. I used it up already. Because Anna and we made lasagna the other night. And it was disappointing. Anna wanted me to put green lentils in the lasagna because there's this one restaurant that we go to, and they put green lentils in their lasagna. I forget, what do they call that? It's not lasagna. It's I'm not gonna be able to remember what it's called. Polish name, some Polish name, something or other. But I can't remember what it is. And so she wanted me to try it. It was good. It wasn't amazing. It was totally edible, and it was worth eating at least. Felt like it was a bit of a waste of pasta sauce though. Pizza sauce, pasta sauce. I just refer to it as pasta sauce. But it was a bit disappointing, unfortunately. But regardless, it was still okay. It was just okay. That's the problem. It was just okay. That's the biggest problem. Thanks for keeping this live stream clean. Gosh darn. I don't do it because I'm trying. My sister knows that my favorite saying is "gosh darn it, the heck anyway." I've been saying that since I was like 9 or 10 years old. I've been saying that, and nobody says that. Nobody says it. Only I say it. I always liked. I would. Let me make sure that I have this definition right before I say it. Okay, maybe I need to. Okay, maybe it is a good. I'm a bit neurotic. Okay, and so I have this kind of thing about me where you know how new phrases and words like pop up in I don't even know what it is. society, I guess. But what is the word that I'm looking, like pop culture, like new phrases and words and stuff get adopted because one person like makes it up in a song or some other dumb reason, and then you can't walk down the street without hearing some other person like talking about it or saying it in a sentence. And I don't know if anybody else is the same, but goodness, does it drive me nuts. Oh my goodness. I cannot express to you how crazy it drives me. It drives me absolutely crazy when I hear like somebody say it on like a TV show, a YouTube video, blah blah blah, whatever, it doesn't matter. And then I start to hear other people using it. And it's like you know when people force themselves to say something that they heard somebody else say because they think it's cool, or it just makes them like, I don't know, feel socially acceptable. I don't know what the compulsion is for other people to do that, okay? But it drives me nuts when I catch it, when I see other people doing it. So I've always tried to say things that other people don't say, like rad. I've been saying rad for quite a long time, and it was because nobody else was using it to say cool. And other people had other ways of saying cool, but I like to describe things as rad, and it's popped up a couple times, but it's never actually caught on. It's never caught on, and I'm glad it's never caught on, because then I have to find a new word, and that drives me crazy. Because I will purposely avoid saying words that other people say if I hear other people saying them too much. I like to say things that other people aren't saying. Otherwise, I'm just repeating other people. I just can't do it. When it comes to repeating other people, I just can't do it. I'm weird. I told you, I'm weird. I am. And I'm okay with that. But, so I'm always in a constant state of finding words, either finding words that nobody uses, or using words that nobody uses. And those are my two things that I do. And I forget why I'm talking about this. Oh, because I said, gosh darn it, the heck anyway. And nobody says that. Nobody says it. But I swear to you that if for some reason I hear this nonsense on TV and somebody says, gosh darn it, the heck anyway, that will be the last day I ever say it. So don't make that happen. Don't make that happen for me. Because I've been saying that for 19 years. And it is my safe phrase. It is my safe phrase to use, knowing nobody else is out there saying it. I don't know why I do that. I don't. I don't know why I care. That's probably slightly more important. I don't know why I care if other people are saying the words that I say. But I like to say original things. I like to say original things, and I avoid saying things that are in pop culture. Yeah. I reserve the right to say rad because I am a child from the 80s. You have that right, absolutely. I'm not saying that other people can't say it. What I'm saying is that it cannot become one of those fad sayings in pop culture. That's what I'm saying. Like, I avoid those things. It drives me nuts. Would it makes me angry if other people repeating what I've said, for example, an idea or way to perceive the world? I did an experiment because I had this conversation with a friend many years ago in the military, right? And we wanted to do an experiment where we could prove that we had a social impact on the words. Okay? That's what we decided. We sat down one day and we were like, look, let's try this experiment, because it drove us both nuts. We hated it. We were similar in a lot of ways. And so we sat down one day and we're like, hey, we can't stand all this weird things that people say because they want to copy the other things that people are saying, right? Now I'm just grabbing random colors. I don't even know what I'm doing. And so we sat down one day and we're like, all right, let's think of something that we could start using just out of the blue, right? That nobody says, and let's see how long it takes, right? Let's see how long it takes for somebody to copy us, all right? That's what we wanted to do, all right? We came up with using the word rich, okay? In a meaning that didn't make sense, all right? We would just oh gosh, I can't even say it with a straight face. Okay, we just use the word rich, right? To describe anything. It didn't matter. It did not matter if it was good. It did not matter if it was bad, if it was weird. We just used rich as an adjective to describe anything. Just anything. And I remember doing this, like it was so hard. It was so hard to do it with a straight face, okay? Because we just describe any dumb old thing as rich. Somebody would say something and be like, oh man, that's rich. Somebody would show us something and be like, oh, that's rich. Like it would just be the dumbest thing in the world, anything. And we started doing it, right? The very first day we started doing it. It didn't even take an hour. It didn't take 1 hour. I swear to you, we used the word 3 times. We used it 3 times. And then it was over. It was like, that's all we had to do. We used the word 3 times, and then somebody used it. Like, I don't even remember the context exactly, but they used it right back at us. Like, they were in the room, we used it like 3 times, they left the room, they came back like an hour later, and they said it. It was crazy. I don't know what compels people to do it. I don't. I am compelled to do the opposite, but just so many people are compelled to do what I refuse to do, and that is to use words that other people are using. I just refuse to say what other people say. And our little experiment, gosh, it was so brief. It was so brief. But we did not expect it to happen so fast. It happened so fast. That's a saying, oh, that's rich. It means you are lying, or you're telling lies. Yeah, see, I'd never heard of that before. I never heard of it. We just picked a word. And we're like, let's just use it to describe anything. So that's what we did. And, yeah. Gosh, we get on some weird conversations, people. Seriously. You guys bring out the weird in me so much. I love hanging out with you guys. Chatting about nonsense. It's great. I've been coloring this arm for an obscene amount of time. I seriously. The skin on the drawing is developing a wonderful glow. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad that it is, because I've spent way too much time on this arm. I'm not even paying attention. I'm just grabbing random colors and telling you about weird stories. I thought that I'd be done by now or something. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. I didn't even realize how long I'd been streaming for. I do actually have to go. Yeah. I do actually have to go. How long am I living in Poland so far? Is your wife from Poland? And is there a language barrier between the two? Lots of great questions. I have been living in Poland for... I have been 2.5 years? Yeah, I've been living in Poland for 2.5 years. That is embarrassing, considering how bad I know the language. What was the second question? My wife is originally from Poland, grew up in Poland. She's Polish. And is there a language barrier? There is. There is definitely 100% a language barrier between my wife and I. At this point, it is actually more nonverbal than verbal. But I have a really stoic expression on my face, like, all the time. And so nobody that knows me can tell whether I'm happy, sad, angry, upset, disappointed, or anything, because my face doesn't ever say anything, which makes it hard sometimes when I'm being sarcastic, because people can't tell I'm being sarcastic. They think I'm being serious, and then I'm just being mean. But my wife still falls for that. So when I say things that I don't mean because I'm being sarcastic, she looks for the facial expression that says I'm being sarcastic. Unfortunately, I don't ever make that facial expression. So usually my sarcasm just comes off as me being mean. But we know we have this language barrier, so we get through it. Because it's something that we established first, like 2 weeks of communicating with one another. And so even though there is still a language barrier, it's very thin at this point. Yeah, we do good. We have excellent communication. My wife and I have better communication in opposing languages than most relationships have in the same language, because I am just a very good communicator. I don't like to be misunderstood, so I articulate what I mean very clearly. And so she can follow quite a bit. You can make a gesture with your hands. I can assure you, if I can't make an expression with my face, odds are I can't make a gesture with my hands. Usually my hand gestures are below the waist, very minimal. Not very expressive outwardly. Very expressive verbally. I'm very expressive, but physically not very expressive. I have to smile. I have to do smile practices before I do videos. When I record, I always have to sit there and smile at the camera for 15 seconds before I start saying what I need to say. I'm really bad at smiling. But fortunately, I will grow old with very few wrinkles. Although I'm starting to get, my wife makes me laugh all the time. And so she keeps pointing out that I have to stop smiling or stop laughing because I'm getting a little crow's feet on the corner of my eye. But we make each other laugh all the time. So she's gonna get extra wrinkly too. I always she always wrinkles like right here. I don't know how she does it. She always brings her eyebrows inwards. I can't do that. I can't do that with my eyebrows. Um, and every time she does it, I always like rub her forehead with my thumb like I'm smoothing out the wrinkles, and I tell her quit wrinkling. I'm always telling her to quit wrinkling. I love that saying. I just like to say it. Everybody say it. Like, I know you're watching me and I can't hear you, but just say quit your wrinkling. It's just the greatest thing in the world. It just rolls off the tongue. Just quit your wrinkling. And I just rub her forehead. Yeah. Anyways, I really am done streaming. I This one went a little bit longer than I anticipated. I was just having fun with stories and stuff, and it was a lot of fun. So I hope that you guys enjoyed today's stream as much as I did. I'm going to be streaming tomorrow. Don't forget, I'm doing soft pastels. We're going to do a mountain landscape, and I'm going to be using the Unison, this lovely set. Let me show you these colors because they're just so wonderful looking. It's like 16 colors, and they're like the perfect colors for landscapes, like for real. Like just amazing. I can't think of one other color I'd need. Maybe red, but that's only if I'm doing flowers. So this works perfectly. Same time tomorrow for the stream. Probably won't start it early, but I'm probably lying about that because every time I get set up, I always start streaming like 10-15 minutes early because I can't take it. It's like, I'm set up, I want to go, let's do this. Anyways, you guys have a lovely rest of your day, and I will see you all tomorrow. So take care. Peace.